let the batteries be intact. Here we go. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode on Straight Down the Middle. My name is Cary Hardy, and I talk and do everything pinball. So if that sounds interesting to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. So here we are. Now, we're on part 2 of Saving Swords of Fury. Now, when I ended the last episode, it was obviously on a cliffhanger for most of you, and I gotta be frank with you guys, still gonna have a little bit of a cliffhanger because I've honestly misplaced / deleted some of the footage from which I go over all of the defects that I find within that back box. Now, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, and trust me, no one's more pissed off than me about it. And I even tried doing hard drive recoveries to recover the data that I deleted, but evidently it's gone. So what I have done though is a little bit fancy and a little bit stupid, and I'm gonna do a dramatic reenactment of what happened whenever I opened the back box. Too much? No. Okay. Let's turn it down a notch, and let's just try straight reenactment style. Oh no! My boards are messed up. Whatever will I do? Okay, that was bad. That's just bad. That was horrible. Granted that I have misplaced some footage, but I am trying my best to make sure I don't delete anything else on my hard drive related to pinball. So what I will do is do my best to go over what I did see on the currently working fully Swords of Fury that I have behind me, showing you at least an image of one of the main defects along with all of the other stuff that I describe out. It's really mainly I'm just missing the beginning of when I first discover everything in this back box, guys. So don't be thinking that I'm missing a giant chunk of stuff. It's literally, I want to say, just the beginning where I actually go over all that I find in the back box that is messed up. So without further ado, let's start it up. Alright, so this is my current Swords of Fury, so I just want to point out and try to record what I can show you was on my board, or on, I want to be able to show you, at least give you a visual on what I saw upon opening. So the first thing I noticed when I first opened it was right here was a pretty decent sized dirt dauber nest that was on my MPU built up right there. That was the main thing. Then you had your knocker cord. This was snipped right there. This cable was snipped and removed from that fuse. You had wires down here that were snipped. You had wires that were over here that were, I think it was this one. This one had wires that were all snipped. You had wires going somewhere up here in this vicinity that were all snipped. I say snipped, I mean they were probably chewed up by rats or mice, or they might have actually been cut. Let's see. There was I can't remember what all cables were cut. And I want to say that might have been it. But yeah, we'll go over everything else. Alright, so here's the MPU. And as you can see, the board looks really good. And how I got that off is by using this brush right here. Ugh, still got powder coming off from there from the dirt dauber's nest. So just using this little bristle brush right here, non-metal obviously, it's got room to give without tearing up the board. I utilize this tool along with isopropyl alcohol, or if you have the ability to get deionized water, then by all means use deionized water. Regular water would work as well, depending on how clean your water is. I don't like using it. Your best bet's probably getting distilled water, but I don't want to use city water due to any type of particles that are in it. That's just me. You do what you want, but essentially IPA or your distilled water. And a good little scrubbing with this tool right here was able to wear all that dirt and grub down, and it is no longer there. So that took care of that. So that pretty much went over the defects that were found in the back box, and the other footage that I'm missing is essentially where I go over how I went about repairing all of the broken wires that are in this back box. Now I want to say I mentioned in the video there's a total of 16 wires or 16 tabs of red tape or connections wise. That's coming up in the next portion, but essentially how I repaired these wires is by, of course, soldering the wires together and then heat shrinking tubing over the part that I soldered, so that way we know that we've got a secure connection on the wires, that it's not just twist tied together and looped with some electrical tape, a rig job. No, that is not what I did. All right, so this is where we have cut wires everywhere there's red tape. So that goes to this. These two right here go to the knocker, which is over here, which I've also got red tape on right here. These three go to this connector right here to these three. Then you have a wire down here that goes to this connector down here. Then you have this one right here, this to right here for the flasher bulb. I don't even think it's a flasher, is it? Oh yeah, it's a blinker. And it's a controlled one. So let's see here. What else do we have? It's a total of 16. I've got 16 taped wires. So I'm going to have to do repair on those. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. A rip ribbon cable right there. And right there. Yay. Alright, so gone through and repaired all the broken wires. So now everything should be connected the way it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to be verifying that all my fuses are intact. So let's go through that process. I've got a bad fuse. Alright, so I've got a bad 5 amp slow blow. Let's get a new one of those. 5 amps slow blows are like the most commonly used for your machines. I suggest you keep a heavy stock of those if this is something that you do on the regular. Always, of course, check your fuses before installing them to make sure that they are good whenever you are installing them. Duh. So, new fuses there. Alright, so let me tell you a method about checking your fuses while they're in circuit. A method I use is by putting my multimeter on ohm readings. And let's say, for instance, I know that this top fuse is bad. This one right here is bad. This is no bueno. So a way to test this is if this is a good working fuse. If I put one in probe on each one, I'll get maybe like a point something. Very low resistance. So now if I put it on a fuse that is burnt out, I'm gonna get a higher number. So anything that's like, let's see, yeah, 10 point, you know, and it moves around, static. So that's basically letting me know that it's not going between this fuse right here to connect to these probes. It's going throughout the circuitry to get to the other probe and measuring the resistance between them. Now, if I test another fuse that I know is good, it's going to show me pretty much 0 to point something resistance because there's very little resistance between this fuse. It's going probe to probe right here in the fuse. That's a method I tend to use when checking my fuses while in circuit. Now granted guys, one of the downsides to using the method of the ohm readings for your fuses is that not every circuit is identical, so you're going to be getting a various difference of readings from fuse to fuse. And from board to board, it's not going to be the same. Your best method is of course removing the fuse and checking it using your multimeter. Alright. All fuses are verified. I think it's time for the smoke test. Alright, I want to go over something with you guys about checking your fuses by simply looking at them. So, if you were to simply look at this fuse inside the game, you'd be like, oh, it looks good to me. No burnt spots, no black in this, no brokenness in the wire. But test both sides of it. Nothing. Nada. It's supposed to beep. Let me know that it can see the other port. Nothing. And that's why you don't judge a fuse by its looks. Test your fuses. Alright, it's the moment of truth. We'll go ahead and install the 3 balls. I'll keep 1 ball down in there in the out hole just to make sure the solenoids are all going to work. Don't have any batteries in there because chances are those battery connectors are not even going to work. So I think we should be good to go. Oh, there's 2 fuses I did not check. Those fuses are good. Time for a smoke test. Here we go. 3. Well, let me plug it in. I don't know if the power switch is currently on, so I'm just going to plug it in and we're going to see what happens. Alright. 3, 2, 1. I did it again, huh? Cliffhanger. Sucks, I know. So that's gonna wrap this video up. What do you think happens whenever I hit that power switch? Does she power right up with 0 issues? Do I see magic smoke? Or does nothing happen? Let me know what you think is gonna happen in the comments down below. Before you go, be sure you give me that thumbs up, that way I know that you enjoyed what you saw and maybe you even learned something. And if you haven't already, do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below, that way you can be notified of whenever we upload something for your viewing pleasure. Until next time guys, peace out.